We are going live.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm waiting for the computer to come up.
Okay.
But
Good morning.
it's live.
Okay, we're live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the agenda meeting of November 15th?
14th.
14th. Thank you very much. May I have the roll call, please?
Mayor Betty Rush.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sarah Maliga.
Present.
Commissioner Christopher McVoy is absent. Commissioner Mimi May.
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Sagridge.
Present.
And City Manager Brown has his hand up.
Mr. Brown, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to let everyone know the reason that Commissioner McVoy is not here. He's over at PBSO. There's a large rail suicide and trespass stakeholder meeting this morning, and he's our liaison for the MPO, formerly TPA. Troy is also at that meeting. There's like a lot. It's put on by USDOT, so got like 30 people in that meeting. I'll actually be joining that after this meeting here, but that is why he is not present this morning.
Is that a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting?
It's in person over at PBSO. I think it's scheduled from like 9 to 12. So, but that's all.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. And I don't know how long this meeting will be. Maybe we can get you out here earlier. In terms of the agenda, do any of us have, what, if anything, does anyone have to say about the agenda? Anyone? Well, then, Mr.
Anthony, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you could see on your phone.
Thanks. No, I'm on the computer, but I've got my cell phone for where the agenda is.
Okay.
Thanks. Mr. Segridge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the special meeting, I know we got the attendance records in looking, and some of you haven't had the chance to look at the backup packet, but in the backup packet, it lists out the current board members, and the profession or area of expertise is only filled out for some of those members. And I know the particular makeup, especially historic preservation, has certain restrictions or guidelines based on that. I shot off an email, but I know Melissa's out, but it would be good if we could get that information for each of those individuals so that, we could see what the professional makeup of the current board,
what category they're in and what we need.
Just in case, we choose to, we might choose to change the makeup or
right.
Shuffle some people around.
Well, not change the makeup, but just do the best we can with what we've got.
Yeah.
Ms. May.
I just am asking a question about what Commissioner Segridge just brought up. Are we just filling in the blanks, or are we resetting the boards?
Good question.
I was going to ask the same thing, if they had a termination date on the current ones, or were they still serving at our pleasure? I don't know if Shayla can answer that.
Shayla, you're
Give me
muted.
just a second. Let me pull up the board list.
Okay. And this might be something you just give to us later today if you can't find it right here.
I've got to just have to.
I believe Melissa answered that one for me earlier, and I believe she said they're serving at the pleasure.
So then technically we could reset the whole board, or we could keep people that are on there and replace others, right?
That's correct.
Because it looks like from the staff report, we're putting one person on HRPB and 2 on PZB.
So
Yes, those were the vacancies.
Those are the vacancies, but if we chose to, we could replace certain people with some of the applicants if we thought they might be a better fit.
Yeah. Because some don't have terms, correct?
None of them do at this point. But then we would need, but then they're not actually reapplying. It's just the new people. So that wouldn't really be fair to do at that meet. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if we don't. I almost think that the current ones should come and reapply, but it's too late to tell them that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was just advertised for the vacancy specifically.
Right.
All right, so then we can do that, and then next step, because we need, sometimes the vacancies, you know, we've had a quorum problem, I guess is one of the reasons we did that, but I think should take a look at some point if anybody wants to make a replacement. I don't know how that will
But
work.
I think we should do it as a, so we haven't switched the the descriptions yet, correct? So we don't have an actual term.
Correct.
So I'd say, if you guys would agree with this, when we do say, okay, these are the new requirements, these are the new terms, this is this, then maybe at that point we re-interview.
But not the people we just put on. Well, I mean, do we
I
feel
don't,
that
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
spitballing here to see what you guys
No,
think. The
right,
other
I
two
agree.
hands are up.
So Mr. Segrich and then Ms. Malega?
I was just going to say, in reviewing the attendance records, I do know there's one individual that basically should have been administratively removed. And so I'd like us to take that action.
Oh, the clerk does that.
But the clerk hasn't done it. So,
Well, then they should. I mean, we don't do that, they do that.
but we can, we could, we have the opportunity. I think we should. We don't. I understand that it's the clerk's responsibility, but we do. They serve at our pleasure, so we can look at the attendance record and say, "Yep, that one individual should have been removed," and I think we should do that at this meeting. I do agree with Ms. May that it might be a little jarring to people to have some suggest
You muted.
dogs.
You muted yourself.
No,
You
he's
just
yelling at the dogs.
Dogs were barking.
Oh.
I do think it would be a little jarring to all of a sudden say, hey, we feel you should be removed and not actually, have an interview process. So I agree with Ms. May, when we do look at the structure and the terms, we could analyze some of the other people then, but I would be in favor of us taking attendance-based action right now so that we can get individuals onto those boards that hopefully will adhere to our attendance policies.
Is Anthony, is that person on the P and Z or historic board?
Historic.
Okay, well then if that's the case, then we have more openings than we.
Yeah, I think it would be 2 and 2.
Okay, so
Can I say something?
Shayla, can you take note of that about the removal? Sarah?
Yes.
And I hear what Anthony's saying, but given, and I'm sure that we're both on the same page with the person he's referring to, and I'm not going to put that on the record, but given what that person does as a profession, I think that we should have a courtesy phone call from the clerk's office first on what our intent is at that meeting.
Well, yeah.
I just think because these are volunteers, these aren't people who ran for seats, they're not compensated by the city. These are
Right.
residents and business owners. And I just think that if we could get the clerk to call and say, in light of our attendance policy, it has been brought to our attention and we would ask you to, to resign. I would rather do that than embarrass somebody.
They don't have to resign, they're off. If they've missed the requisite amount of meetings, they get a letter that you've been administratively removed.
Okay, but I don't want that done in public is what I'm trying to say. I think that we need to do
Right,
this.
right. No, I agree.
And, I just think that it could be handled with,
Sure.
more class than being, one thing that frustrates me lately is the calling out of staff, the arguing with residents from the dais, when the residents are like, oh, roll the eyes, oh, make that look at me. We all get frustrated, but there's a point where we have to remember that we chose to sit in this seat. We did run for this seat, and we have to take all the pluses and the minuses that come with it. And I just think for this person, I would rather the city clerk just call them and us not even discuss it on the dais. I don't think it's worth embarrassing somebody.
No, I agree. I mean, usually a letter gets sent out, so maybe the clerk's office could do that today.
We'll take care of it, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Segrich?
I apologize. My dogs went crazy. Somebody's at the door, but so I just wanted a little bit of clarity on that. So I do agree with Sarah about the public versus private. Will that action be taken prior to Tuesday? That way,
She just said she's going to take care of it.
Yes,
Okay.
I will reach out to them via phone as the Vice Mayor requested and ask them to resign.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
They don't need to be asked to resign. If you look at there's a letter, Shayla, that gets sent out, that was just sent out on the CRA
Yes,
attendance. So I was to call them as a courtesy, but also send them a letter, so
But
it's.
there's also
thank-
somebody on the CRA who resigned first before they were asked to step down.
Right, and I think I think in this case, because we missed the letter to be sent out, I think for this case, we don't send the letter because that goes, quote, in their personal file. And I think that since it's our fault, we call and say, will you please step down? And if they don't, we can send the letter. But let's give them the courtesy and dignity of doing that.
All right, it doesn't matter to me, but then we're gonna replace them on Tuesday.
Full support.
Correct.
but I will handle it today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, give them the option, but,
Do you guys, want to talk about the teacher event or no?
yes, and just me, Sarah's hands up. I just want to see what,
Okay.
That's where I was gonna go next. I was just waiting to see if Anthony was done because he was doing
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Okay.
I wrote to Shona yesterday and asked her about that. And I said, our understanding was it was a fundraiser for her cancer, not a retirement part, not just a retirement party. So, I've not heard back from Shona yet. And I think that we do need to follow up because if that's the case, we're not going to fund retirement parties. We're going to fund, cancer, and maybe it's just, I don't know, what the deal is, but I think we do need to find out because the tickets do say retirement party and we're not underwriting a retirement party.
No, and then nowhere on there does it say a fundraiser, nowhere on there
Right.
does it even say the time it starts, let alone where any donations would go.
Yeah. Sarah?
I agree. I think that I was a little more taken aback when I saw the tickets. I mean, it's nice to leave tickets for the electeds who supported it, but I kind of felt bamboozled. And I don't know if, like I said, we got 2 tickets. If one of us can go there and just check it out, I don't know how we want to handle it, but there is nothing on that ticket. Now, they could have just made those tickets for us, but why would they put retirement party on it? I think that it needs to be addressed and one of us either needs to go and attend and see what what's really happening.
Well, or make a phone call to what I suggested was to contact the people that came to us and, clarify what's going on. Because if it's just a retirement party, I think we're all going to be revisiting that vote.
But do you expect them to say, yes, it's just a retirement party, or to say, no, it's really a fundraiser, but we're calling it a retirement party?
Or ask them if someone wants to contribute, where do they contribute? I mean, I'm not going to the fundraiser tonight.
Mimi did that on the Zelle thing that they gave her, but that was on a flyer. That wasn't on the ticket.
Right. And we haven't cut our checks yet.
And the Zelle went to a person. It didn't go to like a
Right.
fundraiser for so-and-so's cancer. It went to a person.
It didn't go to like a GoFundMe or anything.
So what's the next step with this, folks? Give me suggestions.
Well, Jamie has his hand up. I can't go tonight.
Jamie, hi.
I'm going to
Sorry.
the play.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Jamie, what's up?
Yeah, so Shona's out here right now, but so when you spoke with her yesterday, Mayor, so has the money that you guys from your discretionary funds, has that already been sent to them?
I don't think so.
Mine was because it was personal, but that's
Right.
on
No,
me.
I don't think.
I'll check with her because it sounds like if it turns out to be more of a retirement thing than a fund, I don't know if you guys still want to stick with what you'd stated during the meeting as far as, because it appears that when you guys had agreed to put some discretionary funds toward it, there was a different understanding of what this actually was.
Exactly. Not just a retirement party, it was a fundraiser.
Do you want me to have her pause on anything as far as discretionary funds from all of you before sending
far as I'm
anything,
concerned.
or?
Until we find out, I think yes.
And we
Yeah, I mean,
also-
they'll get my money because I already gave it, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world. But if I had put discretionary funds in, I would say, please hold off on that until we get more information.
So we need to make sure that they paid the $1,000 deposit and they did the insurance. That was
Mhm.
part. or they
And
were-
we did not waive any of those fees. We gave them
Right.
discretionary funds to cover them. So
Stuart's hand is up. Let's defer to staff. Hi, Stuart. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Yes, I can confirm the deposit has been paid and the tulip has been purchased. The application did state a teacher in need, some type of, medical donation, but I can reach out to them since it's kind of our venue, and we'll have
Okay.
staff there and just re-engage and have them put that in an email. As soon as I receive that, I'll forward it back out.
So we'll find out if it's a fundraiser or just a party.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much, Stuart. As usual, you're on it. Busy week for you guys. Okay, so can we move on, or are we satisfied with that right now?
Yes, I do have something in regards to the agenda, Madam Mayor.
Okay, sure. Come on up.
I don't know what item number is. Hang on, A. So unfinished A. If you guys can pull that up. Ordinance number 2025-22.
Unfinished A.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I have version number 1 at the very top of the ordinance, then version number 2. And version number 2 on line 36, it still says roadway to the Lake Worth Lagoon. And then on line 43, it says east, and I thought we agreed to take out the Lake Worth Lagoon. And it still has the ballot title on line 76, section 3, city parks and city property downtown and west of A1A to the lagoon. And we said that we were going to take that out.
I think we only, Sarah, changed that on the one that we talked about. And we would probably, and then for second reading, it would come back as changed. This is first reading, so they're not going to change it until we tell them to change it. And when it comes back for second reading, it'll be changed. That's what I'm thinking Elizabeth is about to say.
Elizabeth's hand is up. Let's ask her.
We talked about this and we made a decision on the dais on this.
All right, let's listen to, good morning, Elizabeth.
Okay, so this one was a little tricky and we tried to do our best to give you all options to help you move this forward based on the conversation that you had at your last meeting. So version 1 of the ordinance is what you saw last time with no changes. Version 2 leaves the existing charter language change the same, but it changes the ballot language to just be city property west of A1A that is restricted in the charter. So it doesn't change the restrictions that are in the charter, but it changes the ballot language to be more simple. And then the option 3, version 3 gives changes to the ballot language and the charter language so that the properties, all city properties west of A1A would be covered. We are working on putting together some additional information on all the city properties that are impacted by charter language. And the reason for these options is because there are potentially properties that would be affected by the charter change to cover all properties west of A1A that are not currently impacted by the charter, but would be if you made that change. It would also impact properties that the city would acquire, for example, by foreclosure or tax deed sale or escheatment, that maybe the city would want to turn around for affordable housing, but would be unable to do that without going to referendum. So we just wanted to have the opportunity to have a little bit more conversation with you all about the impacts of these 3 options. And so we've, again, tried to follow your direction, and give you options, but allow for further discussion and have something that was prepared for you to move forward.
Will you be available Monday and sort of Tuesday during the day to talk to us each about, if we have questions, to talk to you
Yes.
directly? Okay. And one thing, bringing the The maintenance cost of city facility, reduce the maintenance cost of city facilities. I wondered about that. I don't know why that's in there, but.
That was some of the language that was used in the prior ballot referendum to change the properties east of A1A from 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
That was part of the concept of that longer term lease would help with those types of costs.
Does anybody else have an issue with maintenance, reduce the city's maintenance cost of city facilities? I mean, it just says,
No, because wouldn't the renter be responsible for the maintenance costs?
Not all of them are, and that's a whole nother conversation.
well, that's in the lease. I mean, you do that in the lease. Who's responsible for what, common area maintenance things? But my only concern is that people might think that, well, potholes will get fixed. I mean, not just what's,
Well, they might if we get some rent.
well, God knows. Mr. Segridge.
So, I guess the unintentional effect of just saying blatantly west would put the no sale restrictions on properties not yet acquired, right? As well as some of the residential plots that we currently do own. Would it be easier to add in an exclusion for residential plots currently owned and any future land acquisitions by the city for that sales clause? Because the intent is to be able to lease all these out with the larger lease number. But I don't think the intent was to restrict the sale of properties that we're acquiring through foreclosure or in the future for the purposes of reselling to affordable housing or developers to create housing. Would it be easier just to have a carve out language for all future properties acquired, as well as the currently owned residential, the ones zoned for residential? Because I think those are the only ones that we're talking about that fall into this trap or unintended restriction. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, but wouldn't that then limit us to only leasing for 99 years, these individual surplus properties? We wouldn't be able to sell them if we put that language in there.
Well, no, I was suggesting that we would put language in to allow the sale of the surplus properties that we currently own, as well as any new properties that we acquire.
Elizabeth, does this prohibit, I'm sorry, does this prohibit the sale, Elizabeth, of properties?
The current language prohibits the properties from being declared surplus, from being sold or conveyed or leased, except for a lease less than 20 years. That's the current language. So they cannot be transferred to the CRA or to any other entity for affordable housing or for any other purpose without a referendum.
Well, that's kind of a restriction we're not really interested in having, right, Anthony?
Well,
I
think for the major assets that we currently do have that are currently protected by the very specific language, like the golf course, like City Hall, the annex, I think we do want to keep that. I don't think we want to, be selling those assets off. That's the whole purpose of the 99-year lease. So I think having a carve out that allows the sale of the existing surplus property or any newly acquired properties. So if we go and purchase a plot of land or foreclose on something, it would be exempt from the sales and conveyance restriction.
Based on its zoning?
I agree with you.
Not based on zoning, just in general.
Yeah, so our current surplus property, right, gets exempted. And then any new properties acquired after X date would not be subject to any of these restrictions.
So the definition of surplus property is not, what is the definition of surplus property, I guess?
We have a list.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I'll let Elizabeth explain it better than me.
Thank you.
My only hesitation with going that way is that we're limited to 75 words for your ballot question. And to, I can try and fiddle with it, but I'm concerned that the intent would be lost to cover, trying to exempt certain things from this provision while also addressing the change in the lease term in 75 words.
So would, option 2 that you guys have there, it seems like option 2 gives us the intent of granting the 99-year lease to those properties that we wanted to, and it avoids the problem. At least how I read it. Is that a correct assumption?
Option 2 basically says there are properties in the charter that are restricted. We're not changing any of those restrictions, but for those properties, are you okay with changing the lease term to 99 years?
Right. So that kind of covers us, right? I mean,
If you wanted to make the ballot language more simple, but not affect change to the properties that you're trying to address it as are currently stated in the charter, I think that is what the intent of that option was to give.
would,
Will that hinder us from being able to move forward with the sales, like Anthony is saying, like of the smaller lots?
Those smaller, the residential lots are not covered under the current charter language, so it would not inhibit that.
would we be able to utilize the charter language from option 3? The ballot language from option 3, because I thought that was a lot easier for people to understand.
Let me pull that up. I think the answer was no, because has the unintended consequences of capturing more properties than what are currently covered by the charter.
Well, so I asked about Monday and Tuesday. I mean, it's obviously a deep dive. I don't know. Why don't we each talk to Elizabeth Monday or Tuesday, and then, come prepared on Tuesday night to the language that Elizabeth has helped us come up
That'd be
with?
great. Now, I also wanted to make sure to point out that the city does own some strips of land and submerged land that is between, that is west of A1A to the lagoon. So that language was specifically carved out to cover there's some conservation land on the south side of the bridge that fits that description. And then I forget what it's called, but the parking lot bridge park on the north side of the bridge.
Well, Steinhardt property was given to the county, I believe.
They have a lease,
They have a 99-year lease.
but it's still owned by the city.
Okay.
So we're saying that we want to make it so that that property cannot be leased?
No, I'm just saying that property is what is covered in the description in the charter that is west of A1A, east of the lagoon.
Okay, that's so
It's
fine.
to cover that
For the
property.
land.
Yeah.
Right.
Commissioner Segridge has his hand up, Madam Mayor.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Segridge. Didn't see it.
I was just going to say, it seems like the charter language for the third option, the ballot language, I'm sorry, for the third option is pretty close. And we might be able to add like a qualifier, currently restricted by the charter, something like that to it on line 104. That might make it fit the bill if it fits within 75 words. But I'd be more than happy to discuss offline, but I
I
think
think we should.
option
talk to
2 with the tweaking of ballot language, I think we're pretty close to what we had intended to do.
So we're all going to talk to Elizabeth. She's going to be swamped by phone calls on Monday and Tuesday. And we'll hopefully have a better idea when we all come together of the parameters that we're talking about.
Do you think, Mayor, that we could ask if we have a one-on-one on Monday or Tuesday that Elizabeth be present?
I'm asking for Elizabeth. I'm asking for us to talk to Elizabeth about it.
I know, but I mean, I have a one-on-one on Tuesday, so
Oh.
if we just preface it with, can you be there, Elizabeth?
have some things that have obligations on Monday already, but Tuesday I'm open and I could be available at City Hall on Tuesday.
Thank you. That's all I was wondering. So it's why do it later? We can just do it now. Ask her to be there, I mean.
Well, I could, meet with you on Monday as well, Elizabeth. What time do you meet, Mimi?
She said she's available Tuesday. We can do this offline.
Okay, so I'm gonna set up a time that I can see you, Elizabeth, on Tuesday. Okay, but I'll call you, I guess, and find out. So,
Both, excuse me, Madam Mayor, both
Yeah.
City Manager Brown and Commissioner
I'm
Segridge.
just about to call on them.
Sorry,
I always go to staff first. I was just checking my calendar.
no worries.
I'll get with Elizabeth. I can arrange because I have Commissioner May, Commissioner Segridge, and the Vice Mayor on Tuesday. I'll get with Elizabeth and arrange to have her present for some of those one-on-ones. Probably the
We can
end of.
barely hear you. We can barely
Can't
hear
hear me?
you. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying I'll get with Elizabeth, but I have Commissioner May, Commissioner Segridge, and then the Vice Mayor on Tuesday. So I'll have it arranged so she'll be available for probably the last part of Commissioner May's meeting and beginning of Commissioner Segridge's meeting. I also needed Ed for a couple minutes in your one-on-ones next week as well, so I have that scheduled too.
Okay, I'm available all day, so whenever you can fit me in, that would be helpful. Okay. Mr. Segridge.
I just had a quick item on the agenda, the item that I asked to be brought forward. I did ask for some backup to be included on that, and it's pretty late in the game now. And I want to avoid having another discussion about not having backup properly there for the public to review. So I'd ask that we get consensus to push my item back to a later meeting.
Which item is that?
The last one, H. The discussion about having designs and plans for when we do stuff in the park.
As long as we still have the moratorium on more planting. Because I know at the tree board last night, they were talking about getting trees to plant on Lake Avenue, which isn't a bad idea. It's just, we've said no more planting until we get a site plan. So as long as we still have that moratorium, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so unfinished with H. I'm just looking. Oh, H. Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden we're a city that hates trees, but that's okay. That's just
Nope, Mayor, excuse me. I'm sorry.
I know.
Nobody,
I
absolutely nobody said that.
I know, but it's just we did go through something with the tree circle, and now it's doesn't seem to be.
Madam Mayor,
So you want to reset that? You want to reset?
I do want to reset it, but I do want to address this because you've done this now twice.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Nothing to do with the fact that these are trees. This has to do with policy and procedure not being followed and work being done by organizations that did not follow a proper procedure. So I really take offense to you keep saying.
And I apologize. But I do remember them going through some procedures, so that's why.
And that is part of the backup that I want to be included because they did go through certain procedures. However, at this point, the project has derailed itself far enough where we need to take a step back and say, is it really even the original project that was approved? And it very well may be. And if so, if it is part of the one that be approved, and just to touch on the one particular topic of the tree circle, I'd rather see 200-gallon trees planted there and have a true tree circle. But anyway, so if we can get consensus to push this back until we have proper backup included so that the public as well as my fellow commissioners have that, and we don't have another incident on the dais where one of us complains about it, I would just ask consensus for that.
I have no problem with that, but let's bring it back quickly because we have stopped planting and there's plans going on. So, do we have consensus to put it off for how long?
Until backup gets made available. So it's going to depend on the meeting schedule, probably 1 or 2 meetings. All
right. Is there consensus, Sarah, Mimi?
Yes.
Okay, we have consent. So we're going to remove H from the agenda.
Thank you.
Can the clerk please notify Commissioner McVoy since he's not here?
I will let him know.
Um, I spoke with Ted, sort of along the same lines. I spoke with Ted, the other day about the ghost house on the, in the park. They have, they have architectural drawings now, and he wants to know about, when he should come back. And I said, I think that what I suggested to him was that he have a private conversation with each of us to get a little bit better feeling about the scope and how you feel about it. So, you may be getting a call from Ted. So before we put it back on the agenda, I wanted to let him, before we put it on the agenda, let's see what's going on with that. Mimi, Miss May.
So I have a couple questions. One is regarding the annex building. I recall us giving consensus to put out an RFP for people to come back with some ideas of like a triple P for the annex building. And I just want to check in where we are on that process.
Well, let's, do we have an answer from staff, or do you need a little time to get that answer?
Yeah, I'll get that answer for you guys. That's a mixture of Troy and me as well. But what we will have what was discussed at the last meeting, getting that comprehensive list to all you guys, that we're compiling multiple lists together right now. You guys will have that by the end of the week next week. And that has all of the consensus items, staff-driven items, ordinances, all the stuff, everything from legal. That's just a overall list of everything that's currently on the plate. Because then we're going to have a conversation on some things you guys have said are high priority, but we have a lot of different high priority items. So we need to find out which of the high priority items are the highest priority. So we're bringing these forward in an order that you guys feel is appropriate. So
That's
you guys
gonna be
will have
really
that next
helpful.
week.
Thank you. And that should sort of be an updated, constant thing that we have, I think.
It'll be a constant thing that it's constantly updated. So we're
Right.
putting that all together right now. I actually talked to Troy about that this morning.
Yeah, hopefully we have live, what is it called? Real-time access. The other question I had is, I've been getting personal emails, personal phone calls, and I've noticed, although I try to stay off Facebook, I have noticed it a lot on Facebook lately where people are discussing the situation of unhoused folks downtown, in the cultural plaza, in the park. And this is such a sensitive topic, but we have to address this. I have actually spoken literally to other mayors, and they have told me that they are sending their people here. And so I don't know. I'd like to go on, I guess, on the record saying that I feel like this is a really big issue for our city because I feel like it's really hindering our growth. And I understand that it is not illegal to be homeless and it is not illegal to sit in a park all day. But for example, the other day, I got a call from a resident that all of somebody's belongings were sitting in front of the library. Their shopping cart, their bags, everything. And it had quite an aroma to it. And it turned out that the owner of said property was in the library, which is fine. And that the librarian had said, leave your property there. Well, so then the citizen sees the property. I call to have it removed. And the librarian says, well, no, I said they can put it there. So either we have to make sure that we have some sort of understanding of what is acceptable in the parks. I don't know exactly how to make this PC, but I also know that this is a huge, huge problem that I'm hearing from so many residents. So I'd like to hear what you guys think, but I can't let this go anymore. We have to do something to make our city cleaner, safer, and more welcoming.
What's your suggestion?
I'm not sure yet, but I wanted to put it on record that I hear the people's complaints. I agree with them. And we need to, I'm so sick of seeing this commission does nothing. And we need to do something.
All right, Ms. Malega?
Thank you. So it's ironic you said that. I had another meeting with PBSO yesterday in regards to things that are happening in my district. And one of the things that came up that we talked about was when I got to City Hall and I saw everybody sitting outside, I raised my frustration again. And we have the problem at Howard Park and other areas in the city. I hear what you're saying, Commissioner May. One of the problems is our ordinance language. And I asked, well, why don't other cities have this issue? Well, one of the things that other cities did is they changed their loitering ordinance to city-owned buildings to say if you are not conducting city business, you cannot be at city buildings. You must
And
be.
you know what? That's for safety because they can't just sit out there and then shoot us when we walk out.
Correct. So that's one of the languages that a lot of cities brought forward because it is public land. But because of loitering and trespassing, if you are on city property, not parks, but in buildings like at the library or at City Hall or any of the city-owned buildings, you will be asked to leave if you're not there conducting city business. And that's
If
one.
you're
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And that's one of the things that I told them that I would be happy with bringing forward to the commission.
Me too.
And that I didn't think that I said, I think it might pass. I think it might fail. I don't know, but all I can do is try. You know, I'm not making decisions on getting reelected. I'm making decisions on what's best for the city right now. And, you know, I was really frustrated yesterday coming into City Hall and there are 7 people sitting outside with all their stuff. And, you know, I've been homeless. You guys know that I've been displaced. It's not that I don't have compassion, but I also know that when we were displaced, I didn't hinder other people's livelihood. You know,
Yeah, they're going to the bathroom on city property, literally leaning against the building. That's gross.
Jamie and Shona had one pulled down their pants last week, and our staff
Yeah.
should not have to put up with that.
No, absolutely not.
You know, when
It's-
we're trying to give staff a raise, we get pushback from people on this commission about giving staff more money sometimes. And I just think that I'd be okay. It's something that we just talked about yesterday. So I was going to ask, you know, to bring something forward and see what that looks like. But obviously legal was not in on that conversation. But it was something that Jamie and I and Troy talked about with PBSO. So that is something that we can do as regards to the city-owned properties. You know, but we're not going to be able to fix everything until we stop the feedings of the people who are coming in from other cities, from Wellington, and feeding the people here. An entire busload of people were dropped off at Dollar General last week by Palm Tran. Somebody paid for that, you guys, and they don't care that they're dropping people off in our city.
No, and the other cities.
I
paid
agree.
for
My
that.
point is, I agree with you, and I was working on something for the buildings to be changed.
Let me just ask you a question, or 2 questions. One is, and I don't disagree. I'm just looking for clarification. If someone's in the library reading, is that considered city? I mean, do you?
Yeah, they're conducting business in the city building. They're not just hanging out on the bench out front. They're not
Okay.
sleeping upstairs.
Okay,
But
so
they
that's that.
cannot but they cannot abandon everything they own right in front of the library. That is
Not
not okay. That will
That's
be
not what
removed.
we're, understood. Yeah, I just want for, I also try to help legal a little bit. Okay, so,
I mean, we did put consensus to have the people that had to do the feedings to get a permit. Where is that? That was like months ago.
I'm sure we'll get that in the list from Mr. Brown at the end of the read. The other question is, I mean, you're talking about outside city, and again, I'm not disagreeing with it. It's a problem. I understand that. I'm just trying to, you know, the people sitting around City Hall, I mean, it's a public outside place. I see I see your hand up, Mr. Segrich, but also I was calling staff first. Mr. Sword?
Yeah, just a quick update on the comment from Commissioner May. Elizabeth and I have pretty much a final meeting right after this, going over that updated ordinance regarding some of the group feeding. So the staff, you know, myself and legal's put a fair amount of energy on that, and it's almost complete.
Great, thank you, thank you. Mr. Segrich?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mimi, Sarah, I mean, I share your frustration. I was going to point out, like you did, we have already gotten consensus to address this on several different fronts. One, we gave consensus about the permitting activities within the parks. 2, we've given consensus probably 6 months ago to address our trespass and loitering ordinances. Not specifically for loitering, but that's a good take on that. So that could, you know, be included in that. There is another ordinance that I've been trying to locate, and it either existed and was removed or got voted on and never put in, but that is the single serve alcohol within the stores. And I believe there's something that can be done to prevent that. And that will help prevent a more criminal element of what's going on in some of the parts with the alcohol consumption and so on. Basically, I believe it's possible for us to not allow the sale of single can beers and so on from the stores. So I agree. I also feel frustrating with it. I had a long conversation with Jamie kind of about this topic in terms of we vote on things, we give consensus, and when do they come forward? So I'm excited to see the master list because I think that's going to help us prioritize for staff. That's only fair, you know, that they have priorities. You know, I heard something last night, you know, something that's moving its way through the planning boards, talking about sober homes and the distances between the sober homes. And I haven't looked fully into it, but the last time I remember us talking about implementing something with distances between businesses, we were told that that's not even possible because of SB 180. So why are we wasting staff cycles on moving something through the planning boards that might not be possible by SB 180? Now, I could be wrong. You know, I don't know the particulars about it, but at least at first glance, and I was going to reach out to legal about it. But I think, you know, this list that Jamie is compiling is going to be vital, and we can't move off it. For a city as large as we are, to not have this list and be working off of it, is a really tough pill for me to swallow. But I'm glad that we are doing it, and moving forward, we should never get off it. We have to govern by this list so that we can move through these things. So I'm in full support. I also think this is very high priority. When we get this list, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and it's on its way very soon. Elizabeth?
Just to touch on the recovery residence ordinance that is moving its way through the planning boards will be coming to you all. That is a legislative requirement that be adopted by January. So that's why that's coming forward.
Okay. I have to cut out a few minutes early. I've got a meeting that I've got to get ready for. Anything else I can pop out? We still have a quorum. Anything else before I go? Anthony, your hand is still up.
Yeah, I just wanted to get consensus to have staff look into the single serve alcohol ordinance, whether it existed and it just never got put in the code or it got taken out. But I would like to see that put back.
Are we sure that's not something that alcohol, tobacco, and firearms would overregulate on us?
I don't know. I know in some cities they have it. So and
I thought we did. Yeah,
I thought we had.
I have no problem with that. I just add it to the list. I mean, we're giving them a long list, but add it to the list.
Yeah, but sometimes these ordinances will help with some of the other things on the list.
Right. I know I've been approached about because we stopped having beer sales at convenience stores after a certain time, and they're really wanting that to be, withdrawn. I'm like, I can't do it. There was a reason we did it. The police are not in favor of changing it, so we're going to keep, I can't go forward with changing it. So I do have to go. Mimi, I'm meeting with the same folks you're meeting with, but just a little earlier. And
why are we both going? That's ridiculous.
Well, I was just curious about sunshine stuff. I'd be happy to be there.
No, we can't go together. But why do they need to meet with 2 of the 5 representatives?
Don't ask.
Okay.
They're asking for a meeting, and I'm going.
Same.
Okay, thanks everybody. Have the Mango Groves Carnival's tomorrow.
Yes. Hey, are you guys getting dunked? I'm getting dunked.
I'm not getting dunked.
I'll be getting dunked.
Okay.
Oh, good. What time? I want to watch.
I think I'm at like 1:15 or something. I don't know.
Whose house are you?
I'm at 2:30 for all the tree board to come.
It's at Rich and Charlene Raphael's house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put a word out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay. And Mayor, I want to congratulate you on the bridge. I wish I could have been there, but it looked great.
No commissioners came. I was so disappointed. I
I'm
thought
so
somebody would
sorry.
show up, Tom or
It was not personal. I had a.
Yeah.
something-
No, it was wonderful, Nick. And now I've learned from having done it 2 years. Shh. I've learned more about it. So the next year there's going to be a sheet, a little more organized. We had to just go through it. But it was wonderful to see. And most of the people that came were just citizens, were just residents. Last year, a lot of the American Legion came, a group of them. They did not come this year, although they said they would. But it was wonderful. It's
It
a
was
good thing.
cold. Maybe people didn't want to go out in the cold.
I think the cold probably didn't help, but it was a beautiful exhibit, and I thank everybody that came, and hopefully next year y'all can make it. So have a great afternoon. I've got to go. I will see you. I'll probably see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.
So does anybody have anything else pressing at this time?
Commissioner Segridge has his hand up.
I just wanted to make sure we had an official consensus vote on the last item. I know the mayor said she consented, but I
Yes,
want
I
to
do.
try to be procedural.
I don't know if Elizabeth's still on, but I'm wondering if it was part of the ordinance that was passed when they changed the alcohol sales at stores to 10 o'clock. I wonder if it was part of that and it got taken out for some reason. That was probably like in 2016, 2015, maybe. They changed the city laws that the stores could only sell alcohol until 10 p.m. So like in my neighborhood, a couple of the stores just close up shop at 10 just so they don't have to deal with people being upset that they can't buy alcohol.
I didn't know you couldn't buy alcohol after 10. That's early.
10 o'clock cannot buy, well, they did it because in certain areas, a lot of people were unfortunately drunk and then walking in and buying more alcohol, and then you find more people sleeping on the sidewalks being.
Oh, no, I completely understand. I just didn't know.
I think
That's what
it was-
happens when you get sober. You never know what people are doing these days.
That's right, but I think that Elizabeth could maybe chime in or legal, maybe, get us an update on that, but I know that that law was passed, I want to say in 15 or 16. And a lot of the businesses were up in arms about it, but it was to increase safety and lower some of the one-on-one crime.
I believe the single serve was put forward more recently than that, probably about 6 or 8 years ago, is what I was told. I just haven't been able to find it.
I'm
But
sure Peggy can find it.
if we have consensus for legal to look into that and maybe bring it forward, I just wanted to make sure we got an official vote for the clerk to record that.
Yes. Official.
And then the other thing with kind of related to that, and I don't think there's anything we need to vote on, but I've asked a couple of times if IT could check into whether or not our commission agendas and minutes could be search engine searchable. Because doing research like this becomes very much quicker if engines like ChatGPT or Google or OpenAI, if they can index those PDF files. Right now they can't. So in doing my own research, I literally downloaded all of the meeting minutes for the last 2 years, uploaded it into ChatGPT, and it produced a spreadsheet for me of all of our action items, consensus items, and so on within 5 minutes, which could be a great time saver for staff when we have questions like that, or while we're trying to do research of, hey, when did we talk about that topic or not? So, I would love if IT could look into that and figure out where if that's a possibility. And I think it would be great for the residents because we have the really great AI tool on our website that works really well. That could help with it as well.
So you mean like if I search, when did the commission talk about single serve alcohol in that search bar, it could search the minutes?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
but
would
if
be really helpful.
if it was open to public search engines, an engine like ChatGPT certainly could give you that answer.
And that makes, to me, that is life-saving, because I remember a couple of years ago, I was looking for something and I literally, this is even before the minutes went to action minutes. Our minutes used to be detailed minutes, which the clerk's office was spending 15 hours a week on. And then we went to action. I brought forward an item to go to action items and put the time from YouTube on there because I thought that was saving us time. But I'm going to be the first one to say I don't use ChatGPT, don't even know how to log into an AI tool. I'm really skeptical about stuff like that, but I'd be open to learning. And, I think that there's a lot of residents out there who would appreciate that instead of having to watch YouTube on ×2 or go through the minutes and the agenda items.
Yeah.
I mean, like
The-
you said, Peggy's really good at it, but Peggy's
Yeah.
time is.
The corollary to this, I did want to ask another consensus item, is that we actually put our pre-agenda meetings in the same area as our meeting agendas and minutes for the rest of the commission meetings. Because I feel there's a lot of important discussion that happens during these pre-agenda meetings. But once we have them, unless you're in the know of going into YouTube and finding it, it's not there. And I
Under
think-
our meetings and agendas tab, the pre-agenda minutes aren't showing up.
No.
Yeah.
We don't create agendas for these minutes.
But
That's
the-
why they're not
But you create minutes for these meetings.
Right.
correct. And that's
No,
why
I
they
think-
aren't showing up. So-
Wait, back up. So the agenda's not on there. The meeting is listed on the meetings, but we don't have an agenda. So do we populate the minutes on there afterwards?
There's nowhere for us to populate the minutes. They go into the agendas when they're approved. So they do get shown to the public. They just go up when they're approved, but we don't create agendas for these meetings, which is why they are not shown in Muni code. Like
So-
Yeah,
the
but
other,
could they be shown on the Lake Worth, Lake Worth Beach website where the other meetings are? And
No,
just
because-
just have the column for agenda and packet empty, but minutes and video audio there.
yeah, we would have to create a meeting for them. That's a cloud base. So we're connected to the Muni code cloud. We would have to create a meeting, not put up an agenda, and just populate the minutes. If that's
I
what,
don't, is that hard to do?
no, but
I
that's
think
just
we
not
should
how
do
we've
that.
previously done it. So that's
Right.
why they're not shown.
I
But
think
if
we
that's
should
what
do
you would
that.
like to do, we can do that.
Yeah,
Well, I would like to have consensus on this, but there's two people who aren't here and I would like us all to be on board with this.
sure.
So if we could bring this back as a talking point, at a future meeting, maybe the first or second meeting in December.
Well, we
Um,
could just talk about it on Tuesday during commissioner
Yeah, we
comments.
can just bring it up.
Right, but I would like Melissa to be caught up since she's not here, to be part of that conversation as well. And when is
Okay.
Melissa coming back, Shayla?
She'll be back on Monday. She's watching the meeting.
Okay, all right, then.
Yeah,
Hi,
Melissa-
Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
She's
No.
watching the meeting. She's just home not feeling well, but so yeah, like I said, it's something that we'll gladly do if that's what you all would like us to do. It's not hard, but it's
Yeah,
just not.
I think that that's important.
I would consent to that.
Okay, so we're now 10:03. Anybody else got anything? Mimi,
No, I'm good.
Jamie, anything? I can't hear you. You good?
I'm good.
All right, everybody have a safe weekend and we'll see you on Tuesday.